what really said that I have to be with this woman is I said to Jo one time, hey, let's get up and watch the sunrise at the Acropolis, and then we'll run down to Cape Sunion, to the Temple of Poseidon to watch the sunset. That's an adventure, right? I mean, I thought she'd say, well, are you crazy? Like, we're going to... She said, this is great. I'll get some friends to crew for us, and I'll get a guy to support us. And we met people along the way, and it was just a fantastic day. Yeah.
Zulucast Talk.
Χορηγός της εκπομπής είναι το Πανεπιστήμιο Νεάπολης ΠΑΦ. So I thought that you were talking about Spartathlon before. But it's not. It's called Spartan Race.
Spartan Race.
Spartan Race, okay.
And they're global.
Uh-huh.
The guy who started it is from New Jersey, Jo Manta. Amazing.
How did he ended up here?
He watched the movie 300 and he said, I'm going to start a race.
No.
Literally, and it's a multi-billion-dollar company.
Mm-hmm. For real?
Yes, definitely.
I've done them all over the world. I've done them in the U.S. Here, the World Championships in Sparta, in Greece. It was in November.
But is it only in Sparta, or is it in all over the world?
All over the world. But they have them in Abu Dhabi. They have them in Australia, the U.S., all over Europe.
And what is it that it makes it different from the others? Like from another race?
There are obstacles. So imagine running the Athens Marathon and having 30 obstacles you have to encounter along the way. You got to crawl under barbed wire. You got to swim through a mud pit. You got to scale a wall. You got to carry a chain. You got to drag a tire. You got to throw a spear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the people that it attracts, there's elite athletes, and then there are people that just want a challenge, which I really like. It's kind of democratizing. Some of the people don't look very fit, but they love. It takes them. Some of them for a 5K, it might take them 3 hours. 3 hours to do a 5K.
But they're still over there.
They love it. And the obstacles, they fail half the obstacles. You have to do 35 burpees, and they're out of shape, and to do 35 burpees takes them 20 minutes. Seriously.
And there's a community out there. I mean, there are training centers that they are training people for that.
For real?
For the Spartan races, yeah.
No.
You know what they say at the start of every race? Aroo, aroo, aroo. You see these Americans.
What's the irony of it? To see Persians doing.
That's good. That was good.
Yeah. Welcome, both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
It was an ultra marathon making this happen. So we were all persistent. Yeah. I mean, think how long we've been corresponding.
But, good things, take time.
Exactly.
So, and
like the wine.
Like the wine that I forgot to bring. Actually, I didn't forget because, it's because of the day, everything is off. Everything is off. Where should I start? I should start from, well, actually, I have a question. Have you tried the Spartan race?
No. And to be honest, I don't have any interest in to do that. No. Not yet, at least. You love running, or maybe you don't. You hate running, but yeah, I hate. But it's like, okay, let's do it.
Does somebody push you to run?
Definitely. Yeah.
They hold a gun to her head and say, "Run," forcing her to run from Athens to Sparta.
Yeah, I'm running for 12 years now, and I'm still in love with running.
Yeah. How did it all started?
I grew up in ancient Olympia with my yaya. So I had a great time there. I mean, spending time in the forest of ancient Olympia.
Oh.
So yeah, my memories brought me back to running. Yeah.
And when you start running like as a hobby, or did you have something in your mind? I'm going to
start hiking to Mount Olympus.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to catch up Mike Stilas. You know Mike Stilas?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was back then my mentor. I mean, Just go there, have some fun. Don't think that you're running or whatever you're doing. Not racing, actually. So, yeah, it was a hike.
Mm.
Yeah.
So at the beginning it was a hike.
Yeah, in Mount Olympus. Can you imagine? Me starting here, don't know where I was going, driving, and then at the trailhead and up. So simple.
And when did the transformation came?
When Mike told me about his mother, she was, I think, 60 years old, and she did the Alpine Olympus Marathon.
Oh.
And I said, what? If she can do it, I can do it. At least I will try.
Mm.
That's it. That was it.
And
I signed up for the Olympus Marathon.
what year?
I think 2012 or 13.
Ah.
Yeah.
Did you do well? For you. Not of the time. I mean, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, of course.
That's good.
Everything was, I didn't know what I was going to, and I enjoy it. Yeah. You know how it is when you start something, I mean, a hobby, or I remember myself when I was doing scuba diving.
Yeah.
The night before the dive, I couldn't sleep.
Because of the
excitement,
adrenaline.
Adrenaline, and it was exciting. I mean, they said, "Oh, let's." Yeah, that was with the running too. Exactly.
I think adrenaline it takes places like to people like I've met a lot of people in my life. I'm sure both of you have this, like they want to feel the adrenaline like before the game or day before, or how is it gonna be. Of course, after years of experience, and you don't feel like
you get more familiar.
Yeah, you get more familiar, and experience takes place. But Dean, do you still feel that before a race?
I do. I still feel anxiety before even a marathon. I've done obviously much further distances, but a marathon's a tough race, and it's uncertain. I mean, even this year, the Athens Marathon was probably in the best shape I've been in the past decade, and there was catastrophe at the halfway point. I mean, I was reduced to a walker, and sometimes not even a walker, just sitting on the curb, not even able to move, thinking, I'm going to DNF. I've never DNF'd a marathon, and this is going to be it right here in Athens. So I feel I like the anxiety. I like the pre-race tension, and makes crossing the finish line all the more rewarding.
I believe so too. I think that it's good to have some anxiety, not that much. You're not gonna be broke the next day, so try to enjoy it. Especially if you're not a professional and you're not fighting with time and seconds, enjoy it. Because you spend a lot of time outside and training and overtraining sometimes. And, it's good to think about it, when you're at work or when you're at home and watching TV and be like, you know what, I have my race tomorrow or in 1 week. I should start preparing right now and, let me check my shoes and everything, if everything is in order. But at the end of the day, you want to have some memories. And the memories you want to have is that, I did my best and I enjoyed it. That's my opinion. I don't know if you agree.
Of course. And I just wanted to add that Dean is also very exciting when he's going to run in Mount Pendeli. You're always excited.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for a little bit longer than Jo. Like before she was even born.
You're still happy about that. I mean, this is incredible. You're running for 3 decades now, and you can see him how happy he is, and he's smiling. Just go for a train. Let's just go out there. Yeah.
I mean, I think any runner agrees that running is the ultimate freedom. I think we live in a very quantifiable age where a lot of runners want to quantify every run. How many kilometers did you cover? What was your heart rate? What was your pace?
And the segments.
And the segment. Like Jo.
I didn't know what was a segment.
It took a year, huh?
I found out a couple of months ago.
For real?
Seriously, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Living with him?
I don't like. I'm not so
Into
I don't measure and monitor that much anymore. I like to run just for the joy of running. I think it takes some of the joy out of it. I think if you're doing it for a reason other than just pure love.
Mm-hmm.
I was with a friend, and he was in front of me, and he said, "Joe, I'm sorry. There's a segment here, and I'm leaving. You okay?" And I didn't say, "What is the segment?" And I said,
"Hey, wait!"
No, don't ask. Probably something very serious.
Yeah.
So I got back home, and
which is not serious if you don't put it in your mind, you know.
Yeah, but some people like it because it gives motivation, you know. Let's do it. Let's push a little bit. Yeah. I like it.
There are two kinds of athletes when it comes to running. The guy who was like, you know, I'm the best friend with my watch, you know, it's all the time. I have to do something. Oh, this is where I have to do it. That's my plan over here. Okay, which is good. It's perfect if you love it and if you enjoy it, and if it doesn't drive you crazy. And there's the other part, the other side, which is like, I'm just gonna enjoy this today, and you know, be thankful for every step that I move on. I would be so happy if I finish this. I don't care about the time. And I belong in the second part. And I don't even wear a watch most of the times. I do have a watch. I have two.
Lucky you.
Where?
That you don't wear.
Like, you know what? All I want today, in this life today, is to run and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, listen to myself or my thoughts or solve some problems. You know, sometimes it's not a.
What about you?
Well, I mean, I think that ultramarathoning is growing like crazy, and I think it's a backlash to technologically being overwhelmed. I mean, in our given day, when we go through the course of a normal day, we are just bombarded with traffic, noise, ads, everything. And an ultramarathon, you're with yourself for 24, 30 hours sometime. And I think that's where we came from, right, as a species. And I think there's something primordial about it and deeply satisfying, at least for me. I mean, so few people in the modern age have ever seen the cycle of a day from the outside. They're always indoors. When you run an ultramarathon, you watch the sunrise, you watch the sun move across the sky, you watch the sunset, you watch the moon rise, you watch the moon set, and you watch the moonrise, the sunrise the next morning. And you're outside the whole time. I mean, do you think the people in this neighborhood have ever been outside all day, just even once? I've done it hundreds of times, and it's always as fulfilling internally as the first time I did it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of thoughts, I would like to ask you both, not what are you thinking daily when you run? In a race that, you know, for Spartathlon or for an ultramarathon that takes so many hours, do you think about what am I going to think at my race? Because it's too long, you know, it's not 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, you know. It's not at 21 kilometers, it's not at 42 kilometers marathon.
6 marathons in a row. This Spartathlon, 6 marathons in a row. So most of the times I can remember what I was thinking. It's like a gap in my mind. Like I'm not there. I don't know how to explain it. I can remember. I can't. Because people are asking me after that, what were you thinking all this time? I said, I can't remember. Some other times I'm trying to think positive things, memories that happened in my life, or because I was training in the Spartathlon route. I thought, I was here with Dean, and we had some pictures here, and we saw that.
We had souvlaki here.
We had souvlaki. We saw the Mount Taygetus during the daylight, which is very helpful for me. Or when I got to the point of the mountain base, which we have a little bit trail. I remember that I felt in my training. So you kind of thinking things that you had as a short memory, okay? But most of the time you can remember what were you thinking.
So you're going back and forth with working on memories.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds logical.
But I think, I mean, let's step back a moment. Probably most of the listeners right now to the podcast don't know the Spartathlon. So it's a 246 kilometer, 247 kilometer race from Athens to Sparta.
Oh, they do.
You have a strict cutoff of
They
do. Okay.
Yeah.
The Greeks.
Because I've been a lot of other Spartathlon guys.
Oh, you know, I mean, watching Joe run for 26 hours.
40.
Thankfully, it wasn't 46.
Oh my God! What?
26 hours nonstop.
Did I disqualified
Just smiling the whole time and just like
Yeah.
a metronome, relentless forward progress.
No, this year, because I have
And this
done
was your best year, right?
Yes, I have done 5 attempts, 3 finished, 2 DNF, did not finish. So, but this year was exceptional. I had my partner, I had my coach, everything was positive, you know, because when you are getting in a race, such a difficult race, with your body and your mind, start with the positive vibes. It's very crucial for me. So yeah, I was smiling. I did a good race as a strategy. So yeah, it was great. It was one of my best. Not because only my finish time. The whole
of the vibes.
Yeah, the vibes and the whole race. It was. I will never forget that race.
Did you do a much better preparation this year than the years before?
This year it was different. I haven't done so much mileage this year, but I was at the altitude with Dean, so it helped me a lot.
In which place?
Colorado. Because
say Colorado?
Colorado, yeah. So I had a race there too, a 100 miler in the mountains. And then we left Colorado and we went to Mammoth Lake and Lake Tahoe, which is also in the altitude.
Yeah.
So I spent 1 month and a half being in the mountains.
Yeah. So, well, it affects a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know people that, you know, they don't want to, they have some games or races are in Colorado and they're like, nope, I'm not touching that, you know, because of the altitude. And what was the bad race? Was it this year that you ran bad race?
Badwater.
Badwater. It was in 2022.
Oh.
Completely different race. Completely different. On the road. And the 51 Celsius. Yeah.
California, which place?
Death Valley. Great name.
Well, I do. I've crossed from there, but yeah, with a car.
So you've been there.
It's even dangerous with a car.
It's even dangerous with a car. Yeah, we did this road trip with my wife, and I will never forget that way. Because when we cross, you know, all that till we reach Los Angeles, I believe. I was driving and my arm was like this. It was all red. So it's like I was covering my...
Wow.
After hours, I was covering with my shirt or something, you know, because you know.
Yeah, the heat.
It was all because of the heat. Yeah.
And also some places there's no reception.
Even
Right?
now, yeah, even now.
Even now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's an issue.
Of course.
For men and women, you know. For men and women.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, I don't know if people realize how tactical a race like the Spartathlon is and how much discipline it requires. I mean, it's like you're a boxer. You know about boxers having discipline to let the other boxer, you know, punch themselves out, just wear themselves out punching at them. And when they're fatigued, you know, then they launch their rebuttal, if you will. Joe held back in the beginning when people were going out like they were going to crush her. And she just had the discipline to let him go. You know, the leaders were 3-4 hours ahead of Jo. Let her go. And slowly, one by one, they just started crumbling. Her pace was so consistent throughout. And I thought, she's pushing so hard consistently. She's gonna crumble. She's gonna buckle. Like, she can't keep this up. And she just kept it up. It was like a perfect race. Just discipline the whole way in her head. Her strategy, and there's a saying, plan the race and race the plan. She executed perfectly.
So the plan was like that, like it was a tactical, just to do a big negative split.
It was too hot this year again, so I thought, keep a nice pace. I mean, keep your heart rate low, cool yourself down at the 8 stations. Mm-hmm. And try to keep your strength during the hot day of when the day is hot. Okay, and when it starts to become a little bit cooler, I said, okay, how are you now? I don't know if it's a talent, but I can listen my body. I know what's going on. I'm not going to push if I know that I can. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then I start pushing a little bit, and then I say, okay, that's fine. The nutrition was also perfect for me this year. Mm-hmm. And then I said, okay, let's do it.
That's perfect. Yeah. I have friends from Argentina that they came here. We actually
this year,
and this year and last year.
First triathlon.
Yeah,
from Buenos Aires.
From Tucumán, which is like 15 hours from Buenos Aires. Yeah. A beautiful place, beautiful place. So they stay at our house every year, and then they go to Spartathlon. And of course, I know the other guys that they run. Of course, Fotis, which was here, yes. Zimopoulos, and George Dimoulas was this year was not his best.
From the North Face.
Yes, was not his best year.
I know. We talked about it.
Yeah. He's got some years ahead of him, though. He's got some good years coming up, I think.
He's young.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah.
Way
he's promising, yes.
Yeah, and we're talking about a guy who didn't run before. Was like, you know what, let me try run. And because of his mindset, and he has a great mindset. Like, he can take you to places with his mind.
That's very...
in a good way. And, talking with all these guys, and also other guys that they tried, and, didn't work well for them, you can understand why that race is so hard. So hard. Of course, all races, they have their difficulties.
A lot of my peers that I started with are no longer running. So even though, I come to Greece and, there's an 88-year-old that finished the Athens Marathon this year, and he looked amazing. He didn't start running until he was 65. I think a lot of people that become runners that are really good runners when they're older don't start until they're later. It's rare that someone like me, I've been running ultramarathons for over 3 decades, and I still love to do it. I still ran half dozen last year, and I'll probably do the same this year. So all the racing, I've gotten slower, but I still finish the races.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think though, being there again, it's the most important. It's because you come to a place that you don't care about the time. What if it was like 10 minutes before? I think
and the races in Greece are epic. I've raced on all 7 continents twice. I've raced in Argentina a handful of times, Brazil, South America, everywhere. Yeah. And we did the Immortals race. I don't know if you've heard of this race last year. It was amazing. It starts in Tripoli, goes through Sparti in the middle of the night, and then finishes in Kalamata. And it was just fantastic. The whole thing. It was
What makes it fantastic for you?
I know the history, for one. I studied classics, so I know a lot of the history. But my grandfather was from a village just outside of Tripoli, so knowing this is where my roots are from, knowing the history of the Peloponnese, you know, Kalamata, all of it, and the road. I mean, you know, the climb up the mountain out from Sparta is phenomenal. Yeah, phenomenal.
It is.
Wild pigs in the middle of the night. You know, it was like an odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like an ancient, you know, Greece, you know, when houses and all the business buildings, you know, disappear. And at the moment you are like, it's me and myself. And maybe, I see a pig. Oh, you know.
Yeah. But Greece is so unique. I mean, I don't know of any place like Greece. I mean, even like Portugal is kind of close, but it's not the same. There's just something about Greece that's more dramatic. It's more it's like more powerful. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's because I'm Greek, but I don't think so. I want to bring more people here, especially from the U.S., like my peers, to do some of these races, because I think they'll find that it's unsurpassed anywhere in the world.
Well, you know, I think that this place has its own energy, like maybe other countries have also, you know, but I think Greece, and maybe South Italy or Italy, you know, it smells different. I don't know what makes it different. Maybe it's the vibes of the people. Maybe it's the I don't know, the olives, the trees,
the smells, the light, yeah,
the food,
you know,
the food. It's very important. The food and the hospitality.
Yes,
don't forget the hospitality
of course. You know, it's very. It's nice when you see people and they're like, you know, kind and nice and welcoming you, instead of like, you know, don't talk to me even if I know you, you know. Well,
yeah, now you can go to a village. I mean, you can go for a run. I mean, in the countryside, passing a village and being thirsty, it's not a problem. I mean, you can knock a door and say, please give me a glass of water, and they not only give you a glass of water, a pie or tsipuro, whatever. Yeah, that's amazing. Think about it. Yeah.
My mother's side, my family's from this island called Icaria.
Yeah.
And every time I go running there, when I go up in the mountains, every single car that passes me says, "What are you doing? I'll give you a ride. Get in." Like, why? There's no need to run. I'll give you a ride. Hop in.
No, like, I don't want to. I want to run.
Like, what are you doing out here?
Just let me be.
Like, hop in my car. I'll give you a ride. Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
It's a different mentality, you know.
When did you decide to come to Greece, back to Greece?
You know, I have an interesting relationship with Greece. You know, when I was a young boy, I was raised Greek Orthodox, so I was going to Greek school, and I remember my yaya. When I said, Yaya, I want to go to Greece, she told me, don't go to Greece. Everyone's poor and it's dirty. And I thought, oh, you know, the era she left, it was they left Greece because it was poor and dirty. And so I thought, I don't want to see Greece. I traveled to Italy, Bulgaria, Croatia, all around Greece, Romania. I didn't want to go to Greece, Italy, you know, all over Europe. And I thought, I don't want to tarnish, because I always viewed Greece as this grandiose place, and I didn't want to see a poor, dirty country. And then when I came to Greece, I'll never forget, I landed, I was jet lagged, I went to my hotel, I thought I'm just going to sleep, I've been traveling around the world, and I opened the blinds, and there was the Acropolis. And I thought, holy shit, I got to go run up there. And I ran up there for the sunset, and I was like, God spoke to me, like, you're home. It was the first time and you know, I've lived all over the world. It was the first time I felt like, my God, I belong here. I'm home, finally. Like, even in California, where I've lived most of my life, I've never really felt at home. I've moved around California. It's a great place, but I've just never felt that this. You can't. There's some things you can't put into words, right? And this is one of those feelings. So that was 12 years ago, and I've been telling my friends for 12 years, I'm going to move to Greece. I'm going to learn to speak Greek, and a year and a half ago, I just said, Kosta, you're gonna be an old man saying, I'm gonna move to Greece, I'm gonna learn Greek. So just put your stuff in a suitcase, fly to Greece, and say goodbye. It was the most irresponsible and wonderful thing I've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we are grateful having him here, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. I think we both understand that. Sometimes when I return back to Cyprus for 2-3 days, 5 days, with the family, my expression is like the way I express this is like it's like I'm holding my belly, my abs, and when I go back, I'm like, it's just a relief. Whoa, it's just I don't have to do extra stuff here. It's like something, I'm very calm. I don't know how to explain this. I think where you belong has to do something with it. It's of course everything crossed from your mind is the way you have it. Maybe if you were not Greek, maybe but it's a very nice country. I think it has a perfect weather, even in the summertime, because you both been to places that, you cannot go outside or
Yes.
do what you want to do.
And the variety in Greece is like no place else. I mean, you have the islands, you have the mountains. I mean, you have everything here.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And you also have snow.
You have snow.
You have snow. You have
Wouldn't
mountains.
believe that.
Yeah. But, and culturally, Greece is imperfect. I mean, there's a lot of things here that don't work, that are broken. But I'm imperfect, and that's why I think I feel at home here. In America, everything's new, and the laws work, and everyone kind of goes along with things.
Mm-hmm.
Greece is a little screwed up. Let's face it. The infrastructure is kind of crumbling. It's been around for 3,000 years. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things here that need improvement. And it's kind of like me. I'm kind of a little broken, need a little improvement. I feel at home. It's more real to me. There's just something more real here than society in America.
Yeah, it is. I understand.
Tell us about the people. The
In
Greeks
Greece.
and the Americans.
The Greeks are really smart people. They don't think they are smart people. When you go to these villages, you meet people. I studied engineering. I read Plato. I like Homer. You go to America. You've been to Alabama. Come on, these people are kind of stupid. Yeah, they don't think there's anything outside of America. They're not as worldly. They're not as cultured at all.
There's some areas, not everyone, not all Americans, but there are some places that you wish that these people should travel more.
Exactly.
Or spend more time on geography classes. But it's not only the States. Have you been to China? I'm sure you've been, maybe.
No, not me.
No, okay. Well, you go to China. I spent time in China, and I had to explain that Greece is a European country. But it was not that. It was like, you're from Europe. That's it. You're from Europe. We only know continent. I don't think that it has to do with if he's smart or dumb. I think there's so many, or their system is like that it doesn't provide them the knowledge.
The knowledge, yes.
We are kind of like in the middle of the world. We've met the world before everyone else. Because we've shipped places.
Yes.
Yes.
Greece is the intersection of East and West. I mean, it's the cradle of Western civilization. It's
0.0.
Nah. Pythagoras, or Pythagoras, as the Americans say. I mean, he was very influenced by the East, by India, Asia.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's no culture like... Greece and the Greeks specifically, Plato and Aristotle have influenced global geopolitical situations throughout history, and they continue to. It's you read the Republic. The American Constitution to the Republic for which we stand. Most Americans don't even know what a republic is.
Yeah.
They don't know where the word came from. The Academy.
Yeah.
People talk about the Academy. You know where the word came from. The aristocrats. Who do you think Aristotle is? They don't, they hear these words, but they don't know the meaning or the root of them.
I think part of it is Greece's fault. Please correct me or disagree or agree with it, but I think, Greece was hiding in the shadow for years. Like, I'm not talking about the past 50 years. I'm talking about years. Like, everyone went from the Italians and the French, and everyone went from all these paintings and enlightenments and, poets and poetry and stuff. And Greece missed that. And after that, after the Turkish left Greece, Greece was fighting, was like, or inside fights, or First World War, Second World War, and they didn't have the chance to say, you know what, this is Greece. We have stuff that are very important. So they were not exporting, even with the English language, we're like, what? No, we're Greeks. We invented this. You should learn Greek. And they learn after 2015 or 14 that, was a big crisis here, that they were, what, we should learn some English. I think tourist people will love that. Yeah. And we've seen the past 3-4 years what's happening, not only in the islands, but in general, Greece.
I think Greece is very insular, even now. I mean, a lot of people that I interact with, because I'm trying to promote Greece, yes, and trying to improve the infrastructure with like the marathon and races, and they've only been outside of Greece maybe once or twice. Mm-hmm. They don't have a lot of knowledge on best practices, because they've been born and raised in Greece, and I think that having an outside perspective is healthy and can help Greece compete globally, because Greece has to. Greece is part of the EU. Greece is not its own economy. It's thrown into this bigger economy, mm-hmm. and the GDP here is very small. There's only 10 million people in Greece, so the Greeks have got to be very enterprising, very creative, which they are. And if we just hold together as Greeks, we could conquer the world, because we're as a race, we have history behind us. I mean, when I tell people around the world, I'm Greek. Oh my God, you're Greek. If you say, oh, I'm Hungarian. Oh, okay, you're Hungarian. I'm Mexican. Bolivian. Yeah, I'm Mexican. Oh, great. That's, Mexico's cool. I'm Greek. Yeah, I'm Greek. Oh, if they know anything about history, like, oh, you're Greek.
Well, I've met a lot of girls saying that I'm Greek.
Not Greek girls.
Midnight bars. No. Oh my God, you're from Greece. Italians. Yeah. Back in 2000 something, my wife is listening to this. So, Jo, I want to ask you, what makes you from a runner to an ultramarathon runner? What does it take?
I wanted to expand my time out there. Can you understand what I'm meaning right now?
I do, but for what?
Just being out there, because all of this, being out in the nature, reminds me when I was a kid. Playing, I was innocent, no thoughts, no stress, no nothing. So, yeah, I got lost in the races.
You got lost in the races? Or you found yourself in the races?
I think that I'm finding myself during the trainings, not in the races. The race is just like a fair to me, a celebration. I mean, you prepared so many hours, months, years, because the Spartathlon or any kind of race such like a Spartathlon, it's taking a lot of time, years. I mean, so yeah, for me it's a dance. As I said, it's a dance. We are dancing. Yes,
that's very nice.
And we've had a blast together. I mean, we've done so many fun adventures, both races and non-races. Sometimes we race together, like we ran the Olympus Marathon together, and it's fantastic. Sometimes I crew for Jo, sometimes she crews for me. Sometimes we do, like, what really said that I have to be with this woman is, I said to Jo one time, hey, let's get up and watch the sunrise at the Acropolis, and then we'll run down to Cape Sunion, to the Temple of Poseidon to watch the sunset. That's an adventure, right? I mean, I thought she'd say, well, are you crazy? Like, we're going to we're going to run all that way.
I have to do my nails.
Yeah, exactly. And she was so into it. She said, this is great. I'll get some friends to crew for us, and I'll, get a guy to support us. And we met people along the way, and it was just a fantastic day. Yeah. And we both just loved it. It was amazing.
How long did it take you to go and come back?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
That was one way. We got in a car on the way back.
Definitely. But, that was such an adventure that you're not want to have any, looking at your watch. No
exactly.
Watch.
Yeah. Nobody's pushing you.
No, you don't want that. I mean.
And I had the best piece of spanakopita. When you're out there running and you're dehydrated and you're hungry, and it was at like an Alpha Vita market. It was a random market.
Alpha Vita, now it's a commercial. Alpha Vita Anavisos. Thank you, Alpha Vita.
You can get food like this in a supermarket in Greece? I'm moving here. I got to live here.
Well, my friend, when you run the whole day, everything looks nice and perfect. Your body is like...
craving
your muscles for carbs.
I'm still craving for carbs.
I think both of you.
And I'm not racing.
Let me just make a statement for this. I'm sure that your house is full of carbs. Well, people running, both of you, long distance. He's the carb guy.
No, not so much.
No carbs.
Yeah.
No, you're lying.
No. Him.
No, not so much carbs.
Survive?
Fruit, mostly fruit. Yeah. I don't eat pasta. I don't eat bread. I don't eat cereal. I don't eat grains.
Not even rusks.
No. So are you telling me that you're running without carbs? Or you run with carbs? Or
I usually eat carbs when I run. Yeah, I mean, we have gels, or we have these blocks, like athletic blocks.
Yeah, but they're not... They're fast carbs.
Yeah, it's not a lot of carbs. No.
So you're running, for example, a marathon. Let's say for the marathon, and you didn't do the whole carb loading thing.
Sometimes, no, not really. No.
Good Lord,
sadly.
Yeah,
sadly before the race. Good fats, good olive oil.
The best. Which is
the best olive oil.
Energy as well.
It's good energy.
Dean, that's the first time I met somebody that doesn't eat carbs. I swear. While running, this is a phenomenon. You're something else.
It's keto, I mean, it's ketogenic.
And you don't do that, right?
Of course not.
Oh, you love carbs?
Yes.
We're friends. I've met people in my life, honestly, that they were like, you know what? I love carbs so much that I started running, and I became a runner. I'm a pizza guy or a pasta guy, or
No, I'm not eating pizza or but I want to. I'm eating a little bit bread.
Yeah, typical stuff.
Bars.
Not overdo it,
No. No. It depends from my training the next day. So if I have a interval training, so I try to consume more carbs.
A carb is refined. Let's be clear. I mean, you can't pick a carb from a tree. You gotta, you can't pick a piece of wheat from the field and eat wheat. You got to put it in a machine and make it. And I think there's a saying, if it comes from a plant, eat it. If it's made in a plant, don't. And most carbs are made in plant. They're processed.
Yeah. Have you? Go ahead.
Tsipuro is on a tree. You can pick the tsipuro. No. I'm curious. Please tell me. Tsipuro.
Grapes will naturally ferment in the sunshine.
Okay. Next time you can pinch him with that. Instead of the tsipuro thing. With the sword.
Cattle prod.
Dean, obviously, you've been to all kinds of pain. When I'm talking about pain, physical or maybe when you run, like inside pain for something. Or should I stop? Or getting too much worry about the race. I want to talk about the philosophy of the pain. Is it an enemy or an ally at the end of the day?
Pain is my friend. You have to be good bedfellows with pain, because when you run, you're going to encounter pain. And it teaches you about overcoming your weaknesses. I mean, there's a saying, pain is the body's way of ridding itself of weakness. So pain is a challenge. And most people try to avoid pain. I welcome pain. I mean, if you watch television, half the ads are for pharmaceutical companies saying, take this medicine if you have pain, it'll go away. I say, no, don't avoid pain. It's inevitable. Learn how to overcome pain, how to make it your friend. Yeah.
And do you have this as a statement in your life in general? For example, when you're sick or something, or my body is going to fight for it.
I try not to think too far ahead in situations like that when it's difficult. I try to be in the here and now, the present moment of time. And for instance, in a race, when things really suck, I don't think, in 5 kilometers it's going to be an aid station, and in 50 kilometers the finish line. I just think about taking my next step. I don't reflect on the past. I don't think about anything except my next step. And rarely are we in the here and now, in the present moment of time, or even now when you're interviewing me, your mind is thinking 1,000 things. What am I going to ask next? Where are we going to take this interview? What am I going to have for dinner after we're done with these guys? But I quiet my mind. I just say, Costa, think about nothing except your next footstep. And when my mind starts to wander, I bring it back to my next footstep. Don't think about Jomo in the car. Don't think about anything. Just think about your next footstep. And when you're in pain, I think if you can just be in the here and now and just think about getting through the present moment instead of this is going to last for hours or whatever, you can get through anything.
Yeah. And?
For me, pain is not my friend. I'm married to pain. It's my husband. Yes. Seriously.
What do you do for when he comes, when you feel the I'm not talking about physical, my knee hurts. I'm talking about
stopping, bail the race, that kind of thoughts. No. It's like when you are married, okay, you have some arguments. You're not bailing. You just take the arguments and then everything's fine.
So you're fighting.
Fighting, not fighting. Arguments.
No. I'm not talking. I understand, but you still, it's a fight inside of you. Like I was the last night I had a podcast with a doctor, and we were talking about marriage actually, and I said that, sometimes living with a person, it's a fight of breaths. Take a breath. Because we all have some moments and we're not perfect. And, you go home, you're not at your best and something happens. And suddenly you find yourself doing like, hey, leave me alone, and the other person is like, you know what? I'm just going to give you a moment. It's a fight of breath. He can be like, you know what? I'm tired of you, stop bitching,
Yes.
So that's what
when I have those thoughts, I mean that it's kind of difficult or whatever, I know that this is not going to last forever. So just keep going. I mean, it's a temporary thought.
Yeah.
So I'm not paying any attention. Because I know from before I got to this race that maybe I'm going to have this thought. I mean, for example, this year during this pentathlon, I didn't even think about that. It wasn't an option. I mean, I was happy. Of course, I was in pain, but I couldn't feel that.
Yeah. And
a huge pain, actually. Remember the rush? My God. Yeah. But I was happy.
What were your thoughts when you finished this triathlon?
It was... I had my friends there. I have my parents. I was like something divine. I can't describe it. It was above me.
You still think about it?
Of course. We have photos, memories. We are talking about it with Dean. Yeah. And, now there are people that they're giving you awards and remind you what you have done and said, oh, my God, yeah, they're talking about me. That was me. Yeah.
Fastest woman, a Greek woman, right?
Greek, yes,
Woman.
the Greek record.
Congratulations
that
to
was
that.
this year. And you know what? I said, okay, Jo, you did it, but other women are seeing you, and then they're gonna come back and do a better thing. And maybe some year we can see a Greek woman on the podium. I believe that so much.
And
Because we can do it. We are strong.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think women in ultra marathons, they do it perfect.
Yes.
Sometimes better than men.
Worldwide, but now I'm interested only in Greece and the Greek ultramarathon woman. I mean, come on, we can do it.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, I mean but ultramarathoning is one sport where women actually outperform men.
They can.
Statistically, at a distance, I think it's 191 miles. So, the races now that are over 100 miles, women statistically outperform men. So the longer the distance.
Yes, it's no.
And there's theories about that. I think estrogen helps dull some of the pain, because when women have childbirth, also women have more body fat and they start burning more body fat. And women tend to be more patient, but it's an element of ultra running you don't hear that much about. That hey, the women start on the same starting line. There's no women's starting line that's 10 kilometers easier than the men's. It's the same damn race, and the women are outperforming men.
Yes,
I love that.
I mean, you don't see a woman in an MMA cage with a man. I mean, that's outrageous. But in ultra running, they're in the same cage and they're kicking ass.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I do believe that women are much stronger inside. I'm not talking about physical strength, but the inside of a woman is twice as stronger, or maybe more. They're giving birth. They're doing everything. The
monthly cycle. I mean, I couldn't do this shit.
Dude,
I would DNF. I would DNF as a woman.
Every
month, you got blood's coming out of you.
Bro, you cut your finger.
A little bit of blood.
Like, damn.
No.
That's
I'm
the
gonna
worst
say
day ever.
I faced that in a race. Somebody had blisters. Come on, this is common. We are racing an ultramarathon, so we're going to have blisters. Yeah. He stopped. Maybe it was an excuse, but blisters. I mean, can you remember my blister at Badwater? It was like I have another finger. Not fingers.
You have
toenail.
It's obviously that you have to say goodbye to your nails, and of course, and you're not going to be the same for a week. Your fingers are not going to be the same, but that's the award, my friend. Enjoy it. It's you mentioned ultramarathon women, and I'm very glad you do this, and I'm sure you're gonna help a lot of women and men, but and women. Today with social media, you don't know who's watching you, and there's people who have issues and problems, and we get inspired. We see each other. That's the beauty of people. We get inspired from each other. A lion cannot do that. See another lion, be like, oh, I want to be like. I want to be like him, man. Or a monkey. But people, we see and we get inspirations from each other. Oh, man, Michael Jordan was my inspiration to start basketball. My best friend Karnazes in Cyprus, he's going to hear the podcast. He, in 2020 or 21, read your book. He doesn't read books that much. And he started running. And he's a crazy maniac,
He still likes me.
Of course. Actually, and
her ruined his marriage.
That time, I think you had this black and white Instagram photo. That time, I don't know if you still have it. I think, maybe. I don't remember the photo. Sure. We follow each other, but, I don't remember. And it was like, you have to see this guy. You have to meet this guy. You have to do something. Bring him in Greece. Do a podcast with him.
Karnazes.
Yes.
Maybe we can call him after the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. He's in, of course.
Yeah.
We will. And he was, he told me, and I remember that, you know, talking about inspiring people, I'm sure both of you inspire men and women through the years. Of course, Dean, you know, maybe more or more because, you know, has a lot of history back.
Of course.
And people from the United States, from all around the world, you know, from his books and everything. And I think this is perfect. And not only runners, maybe you inspired
Definitely,
a mother, you know.
Kids. He got messages from kids.
For real.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that. I think that's probably the biggest reward that a human being can take. You know, that a thank you, you know, a typical thank you.
It's an honor, and I'm just grateful that I am the man they think I am. I'm not like a phony or a fraud. I'm actually the guy that they admire. I'm true to who I am.
I can confirm.
But
I'm sorry.
You know, I still don't. It's like the only thing I really know is that I know nothing. So when people tell me, "Yeah, you're a great inspiration," I'm glad, but I'm just doing what I love. I'm just who I am. So I'm not trying to be an inspiration, but I think people just like the way I conduct my life. I've kind of been a free spirit in a way. I've done what I've loved my whole life and somehow made a living of doing it. And I've introduced people to running and to taking a path that's not so easy, you know, trying something difficult. And a lot of people try to avoid, like when I say, you got to try a marathon. Oh God, I could never do that. And I say, that's why you had to do it, because you think you could never do it. And when you do it, you prove to yourself you can do anything.
Were you that humble? Because I know you're humble right now. And I mean, I've seen you moving left and right, and I know you're a humble person. But did running in general make you humble, or you were a humble person since day one?
I think I've always been pretty humble. Yeah, I've never had much of an ego. Running definitely humbleizes you. You know, it teaches you that humility, if you will. And it's a simple sport. It's not so sophisticated. And I'm just a simple man. So I think ego is something that we all had to work on suppressing, because I think ego creates so many problems. And I try to avoid having any sort of ego, taking anything personally. But I asked Jo. I mean, she sees me operate day in and day out.
He's coming from a great, great family. I mean, I met his parents, so you can see, you can understand why he's
mirroring his parents.
Yeah, so it's, he is who he is. I mean, he's real. He's an open book. He's honest. What else do you want to? You don't want to think. You don't want anything else. I mean, even if it's your friend, your husband, your partner, your whatever, even your family, you want somebody to be honest with you.
I think being honest in today's world, it's pure gold, guys.
Exactly.
It's pure gold.
It's priceless. It's priceless.
Well, and I think also being curious. I mean, I always try to be like a curious child and always like continuously learning. I drive Jo crazy because
sometimes
I'm always asking people, like, I'm asking so many questions because I'm so curious. I'm really genuinely curious. Like, I like to learn. I mean, like, I see all these items on your desk, and I'm like, have so many questions for you. I mean, I'm sure we could sit down and talk for hours and talk about our adventures and where you've been and, you know, what you experienced. And,
Well, you know, curiosity is, I think, it's a gift. It takes you places. You know, sometimes, you have to answer the questions.
Yes.
But don't forget that in ancient Greeks, this is what they did. This is how philosophy came, you know what? And this is what Socrates did. Asking questions.
Favorite.
You know this.
His favorite.
Yeah. So
you love Socrates.
Of course. Yeah, that's all he did. He walked around Athens and,
So next time I see you, I will give you a gift about Socrates. I'll find a gift for you.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Yeah.
There's so many, not from Socrates, like for Socrates, because he was a huge personality, you know, a huge philosopher. And there's so many things that you can learn from all these people. Especially, like, my advice is to read slow. Like, when you buy this kind of books, you have to read very slow.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to catch things when you read fast. It's not a biography book, or it's not a fiction book. It's a philosophy book. You have to read slow, because sometimes when you think very slow and calm and quiet, you get all the, you're like, whoa, you know, I didn't know that. I know that you're practicing Greek, right?
Nah.
So
Nah.
That's it. I wish one day. My advice, I say this to many people that they love Greece and they want to move here, and they move here, is that take a word daily and break it, a Greek word, and break it into pieces, like break it in 2 pieces. For example, school is scholio.
Mm-hmm.
So if you break it and go to the Google Translate or Google in general, or ask Jo, you will see that, okay, so this is scholio. Ascholia is like when you do something. So you will realize that every word is not like other, it's not just, just a word. It's not a word. Or, for example, maybe in German or maybe in, other languages. It has a meaning. It has many meanings.
Many meanings, yes.
Many meanings.
Many.
And it's gonna help you, man, understand Greeks far different. It's like traveling.
I studied biochemistry in university, so I mean I know so many of the root words are Greek, so I knew
Greek,
that.
yeah.
I've got a good word for you, an old Greek word, harmolipi. Harmolipi. You know what this means?
Harmolipi.
Harmolipi. Well, it's 2 words.
Break it down.
Okay. Harmo is like something happy, and lipi is something sad.
Yes.
So it's like a mixture of happiness. Is it?
At the same time, happiness. Yeah,
But it's one word.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's like
what's the meaning of it?
bittersweetness.
Bittersweet?
Yes.
I think of Phidippides, the
Yes.
marathoner who ran to Athens. He proclaimed, Niki Niki, victory. And then he died. So it's harmolipi, right? It was a beautiful moment, and then the sadness.
And the
Yes,
sadness,
it is.
At
Actually,
the same time.
yeah. Is it? Do you feel that when you run, like?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Of course, because sometimes the race is not going according to your plans. So the one moment you may be happy, smiling, and the next moment you're gonna hit on the wall, and then, or you're gonna take the wall with you to the finish line, or you're gonna DNF. So it's.
I had this guest, Dragana. I don't know if you know her.
Yes, of course,
You
of
do?
course. Yeah,
And
we love her.
Yeah, and she told me about all this, and all this bittersweet when you run, especially at night by yourself. Your husband is worrying about you, her husband, and was worrying and was crying from memories, happy that she was there, sad because she thought that she has to stop, and excited to see what's next.
Exactly.
Dude, I don't know any other sport that makes it like that. Like baseball, of course, doesn't give you that for sure.
I don't think that you can think.
No, but I mean, so many ultramarathons, you're running and it hurts, and you say, okay, I'm done for a while. I'm never going to do this again, or I'm going to run shorter distances from now on. Mm-hmm. And, 3 hours after the finish, you're thinking about
where are you going to sign
what's
up?
my next race? Yeah.
It is. What is...
we are addicted.
Well,
in a good way, yeah?
I think that's obvious.
In a good,
yeah. And you have great photos together. I've seen your photos.
Yes.
I love your photos. The black and white and the one that you run. I will post this so people will understand what we're talking about.
Exactly, yes. And Santorini. The black and white. Yeah.
I don't think he knows.
I'm
He's like, what kind of
did
photo?
Did I send you the right photo? Oh my God. It's nothing.
So what is 2025 upcoming for you, Dean?
More races. Yeah, there's
more adventures.
Yeah, more, yeah. There's a race that finishes in ancient Olympia that Jo.
Ancient Nemea.
Yeah. So I want to do that race. I get so many invitations. So I think I want to go back to the Olympus Marathon. I really enjoyed that experience. Have you ever done this?
Not the Olympus one.
It's got a great energy to it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's how many? Which one? Which race?
Just just the marathon.
The Olympus Marathon.
The Olympus.
Yeah. There's an ultra.
It's the end of June.
Yeah, but I think it's different kilometers, like different two. I think 2 races. One is 100 kilometers.
Ah, you mean the Olympus Ultra?
Oh yeah, the Olympus Ultra.
72.
72.
Jo won that. She's the record holder, by the way.
Nah.
You just remembered that, eh, Jo?
Yes.
2 years ago, right?
I couldn't.
2 years ago,
I couldn't run because it was, the terrain was horrible.
Yeah.
But it was Olympus, okay. Yeah, we were. I was just, feeling lucky that I was out there. I mean, in Mount Olympus.
And going back where you started.
Yeah.
Going back where you started, because you started.
The crime scene.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say. You always return the
murderer always return to the crime scene.
So, both of you more races, but what's the peak of the race? What's the race?
I don't have the race this year. It's interesting. There's a race called Racing the Planet, a series of races called Racing the Planets, and they put on what's called the 4 Desert Challenge, which I've won. I won the 4 Deserts overall championship. It's across the Atacama Desert, the Gobi, the Sahara, and the format is 6 days, self-supported, 250 kilometers. So you carry everything you need for that entire time. And I convinced them to do a race in Greece. So they're coming in September, and I've signed up to do it.
Wow.
And it's going to start near Aeropoli, the Mani. And the last day is on Hydra. So you run for 5 days toward Piraeus. And then, what's the port that's on the Peloponnese with the ferry to down by Monovasia? There's a ferry that goes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, so you run to that spot, and then you get on a boat. You go to Hydra, and the final day of racing is on Hydra. So I'm signed up to do that. I'm also doing these Greek running tours. So they're non-competitive foot tourism, basically. So people come over and they experience Greece on foot instead of getting in a tour bus or an Uber. You run around certain spots like Athens, Marathon, and it's kind of it's high end. People run as an excuse to eat more. And, there's massages at night. You stay in 5-star hotels. So I'm leading a couple of those tours this year, and that's a business I want to grow. Wow. These are I'm trying to get better quality tourists into Greece. I mean, I've met with the Minister of Tourism, and she said the numbers are going crazy. We've got 35 million tourists coming, and I said, most of these tourists are not so great. I mean, they're coming from
eating burgers and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they're coming. They're flying into Mykonos. They're partying. They're on a package deal. They trash the island and they fly home drunk, hungover. The tourists I'm bringing in are these are highly educated people. They have a high disposable income. They're paying good money. They're eating at restaurants. I mean, these are the kind of tourists that Greece needs. Fewer tourists, but better quality. They appreciate the Greek people, the environment,
the history.
The history, yeah.
They touch. They smell it. They smell the country because they're gonna go through places that nobody, even Greece, ever been.
Yeah.
And
even to the top of Mount Penteli, which is kind of near where we live.
Yeah.
You go up there and you see Athens on one side, you see the Acropolis, and then you see the Bay of Marathon on the other side. And for a runner to think that's where, the Persians invaded in 490 BC, this is where the guy ran to Athens, you see it all right there. I mean, it's like a panorama. It's surreal. And we go up there, you don't see anyone, there are 5 million people that live in this, the greater Athens area. You don't see anyone up there. And it's like, well, you explain it, Joe. I mean, is it just me or you?
No, it is. But it's also the hour that we're going out for training.
Yes,
probably in the morning, but I'm trying to say.
But
here
I mean, you don't see hundreds of people up there taking your kids up there saying, "Hey, this is where."
Yeah, at Mount Pendeli, because it's with this wildfires. Yeah, people are not coming so often.
They don't.
They abandon.
Yeah,
Mount
which is
Pendeli.
bad. Which is doesn't have. You don't have to abandon it. You have to try more.
Exactly. That's why.
And
I want to
give some love to the place.
Yeah. Even when Mount Parnitha, the St. George part of Mount Parnitha.
Good Lord, I've been over there, and I was so sad.
I know, but I said, no, Joe, go and run because you were running there. So go again. What does it mean? Because it's burned. No, you should go there. You should honor that place.
Hey, that place will survive.
Exactly.
That place, my friends.
The church, remember?
I remember it. Yeah, I saw it.
All the places that you see with fire, trust me, after years and years, we're not going to be here.
Exactly.
We're going to be dust and, dust in the wind.
Exactly.
That place will survive. People or not, sometimes I say, like, Earth is like, one day it's going to be like, get off me, all of you. Like a dog, like,
like the palm.
The hell over here.
Flee on a dog.
Yeah. Get off. Enough is enough. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of tired of you.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Have you, I will ask you both, but running so many years, knowing about marathons and stuff, and one day living in a place that you see Athens and Marathonas, do you believe like in all this? I don't want to call it karma or karmic thing. It's just how life sometimes, makes all this. Did you ever dream about this?
It's like I'm living in a dream. I don't know how to describe my life since I've moved to Greece. And Joe and I talk about this all the time.
Yes.
It's surreal. It's though it's not really happening, but it's happening. I go to marathons still, and I just can't get my head around it. That what happened, history, we know what happened there. And to go there, I still get the chills. And I take pictures of me in marathon, and I post them, and I say, I'm in marathon. And people say, what do you mean you're in marathon? Like, that's a race. They don't even know that marathon exists as an actual place. And I'm like, no, marathon is a place in Greece. It used to be a field filled with fennel, which is marathon. And they can't understand that, there really was a place called Marathon, which is crazy to me. But hopefully I'm going to change that. But the magic of being here is still as powerful as the first day I landed here 13 years ago. It really is.
How long you've been here in Greece?
It's about a year, almost 2 years, going on 2 years living here. Yeah.
And Joe, like when you started running years ago, did you ever like dream about this, that, one day I will, not exactly what you're living today, because you're not a prophet, but did you dream about this? Like, what?
When you said this?
Living in a place that, I'm close to the marathon, I'm close to see the Acropolis. I'm living in Athens, but not in Athens. I'm an ultra runner. I earned this. And I'm so happy for this, of what I have achieved.
Yeah, not even close. Not even close. That actually, I'm laughing right now because I remember myself going to the track and field and trying to do 10 laps. Okay. And I said, oh my God, I can't do that. I mean, I can't do that. It's boring. What is it? If you go back there and said to me, Joe, you're going to run the Spartathlon, or you're going to go to Mount Olympus on your own, meeting your friends up there, I would say to you, no, you are crazy. Yeah, it's the same thing with Dean, that I think I'm still in a dream.
Wow.
But it's nice. It's nice, and I enjoy it to the fullest. I don't want to wake up.
Oh, please don't.
No.
Both of you.
No.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, when I moved here, I said to Jo, I want to live in Glafada or Bulakmeni. She's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. And now I understand exactly. I didn't know Athens that well. I mean, when I was visiting here, I'd stay in Lycabettus. Remember the Airbnb in Lycabettus?
Yes, of
I'm like, oh, Jo, this is the greatest place. I'm going to move here. She's like, you're downtown. We need to live somewhere else. Okay, Glafada, the coast. She's like, no.
It's not his style. I mean, we have written.
I didn't know about the northern suburbs.
Exactly.
I didn't know about it. I went to Totoy Club, and I used to stay there, and I thought, wow, it's in this great forest. You know, Totoy Club?
Of course.
Like it was so big to me. I thought, wow, this forest goes on.
That's a great place.
It's a great place.
That's a great place. Yeah, I love the gym over there. I have a. They just built a new gym, a huge one, inside and outside. The one outside.
Oh, you know this? So you've been?
Of course, many times.
Yeah,
many times.
Do you know Harry?
Yes, I do.
And Eleni.
And Eleni and Harry.
Yeah. Have you been in the Cryovac, the Cryo machine?
No. Well, I spent some time over there with a bike.
With a bike, yeah.
I don't play tennis, but because of some situations, and I've spent some time over there. It's a perfect, very nice place, and it's in the forest. In the forest, so, are you gonna be in Spartathlon this year?
I signed up already, of course. Yeah, so I think so. Yes.
And what is the milestone of the year? Not for you. Like, what is it? What do you want to achieve?
I want to be once again an inspiration for the other athletes. I'm not going to say women, or I don't want to define the gender. It's unfair. So even if I will be 48. Yeah, I want to try it, because for me, age is just a number. It's just a number. Yeah.
But mention something else. What else are we working on? It's a project together, running related.
There's a lot of projects. I don't know.
We're filming. Are we filming a pilot episode of something?
What?
Jo and Dean run the world?
Yes. We also have this, but it's not a race. It's kind of an adventure. So yes, we're going to have our pilot episode in maybe 1 month. And travel.
It's like a travel show.
It's like a travel show,
but it's all on foot. So it's Jo and me running from sunrise to sunset in different places around the world, like a historic mark to a historic mark, in one day. Talking to people along the way, having souvlaki, laughing, watching, the sunset at certain places.
Meeting the local legend.
In all around the world, or in Greece?
We're going to start in Greece.
The pilot's going to be filmed here,
can we watch this, or is it just a pilot for agency or something?
The pilot's, hopefully it's going to air on Netflix. So we've got an agent. We're working with a production company, Greek production company, to produce it. And if the pilot goes well and it gets green lighted, then it'll be available like on a streaming network.
Perfect. That's perfect. That is good news. More good news, actually.
Yes. I think you're the first one.
Yeah, nobody else is gonna hear this.
Breaking news. This is breaking news.
You're the only one.
So this is very.
Don't say any.
I wish. It's just between us. I wish the best for this project. I think it's gonna be very excited, and it's gonna bring people. It's gonna give people something different.
Yeah.
And I love seeing couple working together. I love projects that comes from, you know, couples or people who live together, or you know, everything that it touches you different, because it's not just where husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend. It's just something more.
Yeah, exactly.
More spicy.
And it's never been done before. So this is the first. It was our idea to do this, just based on some of the adventures we've done, like the run I told you from the Acropolis to Sunyon.
Tell them about the Mount Olympus weekend.
Yeah, we did a Mount Olympus run weekend. We did. We ran for Greek Independence Day last year, March 25th. We ran from Joe's father's house in ancient Olympia to my grandfather's house outside of Tripoli. So it was like father to father run. And it was like 75 kilometers between the two, all on backcountry roads through Greece. It was stopped along the way.
I see 4 eyes, but I see excitement. I see excitement.
Yeah.
And
the food.
And Sipuro.
and Sipuro.
I see.
I'm so disappointed. I'm drinking Nero. I mean, the only reason I came here, you said we'd have Sipuro, and I'm having water.
No, actually, no. You mentioned Sipuro. You're like, how about?
It was a hint. It was a hint to the host of the show. Come on.
I didn't get it.
It was my fault, because today I got to the farmer's market and I saw, you know, this big can with Sipuro, and I was, I don't know. Let's go. Don't do it. It was my fault, guys.
The next one. The next one. I hope you like this episode, so we can do the next one maybe sometime. Door is always open. You know where we are right now.
Can you imagine? Boom, 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 boom.
Hey,
where are
so
you?
you promised one.
We came here with a Sipuro.
Party.
I have some too, so let's drink all this.
Great night. Yeah.
You know, because it took a lot of time to figure this. And also, you know, I didn't get the message, you know, because it was always back and forth with the messages, but, you know, ended up well. I see excitement, and, you know, this is perfect that, you know, people with different backgrounds end up and have something in common, and you see that it's growing, and no excuses, or you know what, we are tired with this, and you know we're tired running, or no, we just started, and it's perfect, and it gives me as a person something to tonight to have a great Friday night, and thank you for doing this,
for sharing,
and for sharing this.
Have you ever run drunk?
I did.
Bravo.
I did. It was not the best. I was your best.
It was great. Remember the New Year's Eve in Mount Pandeli?
Yeah, that was a different kind of drunk.
Was it drunk, or was it
lightheaded, not so drunk? But it was like, you know, and being in the mountains night, because we went up there in the Mount Pandelis for New Year's Eve last year. Yeah. And so we took the champagne with us. So we open, we celebrate, and then we should go back home.
And you run.
Shuffle.
Yeah.
Not run.
We laughed a lot too.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, you're a great host.
Yes.
And I apologize to you, and to Joe, and to the listeners that we're doing this in English. I am ashamed. I really am. I'm ashamed that I don't speak Greek, because I'm Greek, and I can't call myself Greek until I can speak the language. My blood is Greek, but I still don't consider myself Greek. Greek is such a beautiful language. It's so much more expressive. And next time I'm on the podcast, let's speak Greek.
That's a statement,
Let's
my
have
friend.
a challenge.
Yes.
It'll be a very short podcast.
2029, still calling Dean. Hey, are we doing this or what? Just give me some time.
I just want to say here, because you said apologize, I want to say that thank you for having you here in Greece, and promoting Greece and loving Greece and being sometimes more Greek than the Greeks.
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to anybody get me wrong on that, but you know exactly what I mean.
Of course.
Okay, he never stopped promoting Greece. We should never forget that. Okay. And we're very proud of you.
We're yes.
Here, you
No
have
need
to say thank you.
Yes. I think it doesn't change the fact that you speak Greek or not. I think you think as a person, like you know what's happening. The fact that you're promoting, I think you're a great ambassador for our country, and that says a lot. We all seen people that they were like, "Oh, I'm Greek."
Yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, it was not like that. And thank you for being here in Greece. I think that you can do so many things with Jo. And Jo, thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure for both of you.
Yes,
for both.
yes.
It was a pleasure, and I wish you the best.
You're so kind.
Yes,
Thank you.
and I can't wait to see you again.
2029. That's a promise. Okay.
And be like, Yasu.
Yasu.
That's it. Hoppa.
Vima, Vima.
Yeah, that's good. Poli. I know that in African.
Poli.
Yeah, poli in Kilimanjaro when you go there, like poli, slowly.
Slowly.
Yeah, slow.
Σιγά.
Διαβάς. Yeah.
Βήματα μωρού.
What?
Βήματα μωρού.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Yes, sir.
Παιδί.
Yes, sir. I
Bravo.
agree with that.
Bravo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Παρακαλώ.
Και καλό βράδυ.